Hey everybody, it's Penny, and I want to talk today about something kind of special. And I want to share with you my 5 takeaways of 500 days with Dr. Vuong. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with Dr. Vuong or my relationship with Dr. Vuong or who on earth or what are we talking about? Let me explain. I had bariatric sleeve surgery in December of 2019. Lost a total of about 85 pounds. I'm still working on it. And I completed the surgery, and I really truly felt like I was put on a little boat and thrown in the ocean and told, deal with it. So I started to go to YouTube to find any content that would help me be successful with this surgery, because the protein shakes weren't resonating with me. Um, the the whole way it was structured, it just wasn't making sense to me. It was having you eat all of these artificial and fake foods, which is kind of what got you fat in the first place. And I was like, this just doesn't. There's got to be something better. So I started to go through YouTube, and I started watching these different bariatric diet doctors and people had had the surgery and meal prep and just tons and tons and tons of information. And I found myself watching the videos from this Dr. Duc Vuong um, a little more often than all of the other content. And he was a bariatric surgeon in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he had these classes where he was teaching his students, or his patients, actually, how to be very successful with the weight loss surgery. And he called the surgery your baby, and stuff like that. And so I started to watch him, and I started following him on his social media accounts, and I got an invitation to join this thing called the V Tribe. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever you. And away my information went, and then boom, he started this thing called the V Tribe, and he started it in, I want to say, March of 2020. So roughly 500 days ago. He actually started it in February for a select group of people. And what he decided to do was start working on some of the mental aspects, or some of the hurdles, or some of the barriers that people have in regards to weight loss, weight surgery, and just being a all over cool cat human in general. So, the very first takeaway that I learned with Dr. Vuong was I had a shitload of anger. I had a lot of anger, a lot of anger, a lot of anger. And I can remember there was this musical called Man of La Mancha. It was my mom's favorite musical. And this crazy old fart envisions this beauty over this person whose life was just shit. And her name was Alonza. And he first sees her, and he says, I've dreamed these so long. And she's like, what the hell? I'm a hooker, okay? What the hell? And not that I ever was a hooker, but and he just, and so then and they have this relationship, and he worships her from afar, and then finally she snaps, and she says, don't you see what your gentle insanities do to me? Rob me of anger. And that's my takeaway number one, was that with the meditation and the gratitude journals, two things that I never did before on a regular basis, I noticed that my anger started to slip away. And all of these little hurts that I just clung to started to just kind of disappear. And they were the past. I can't do anything about them. I can't change them. They're not me now. They're just the past. That was old Penny. I can't do squat about it. So why am I letting it rule my life? So that was giant takeaway number one. Giant takeaway number two was, you're not average. And, and I've always been kind of a misfit and kind of an oddball. And, people who've known me all my life kind of know this. And that is, and that's going to be part and parcel when you're named Penny Pounds and your first husband was poor. So you went from Penny Pounds to Penny Poor. And then you finally got lucky and married Mr. Pretty. So you're Penny Pounds, Poor Pretty. And that was just too much like peas, porridge, pot. But anyways, so, I had a tendency, a propensity to stick out. And so it was, so one of the things that he says every day, it's, average people do this, but you're not average. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not average. I'm not average. And so having a little bit better vision of self-worth was another big takeaway that I've had from this program. I don't need to be a shrinking violet. It's okay to stick your neck out. You're not a freaking turtle, and and being a turtle is of no value to you. Stick your damn little neck out. And so that was big takeaway number 2. You're not average. And takeaway number 3. When somebody says to you, this will change your life, it will change your life. Or at least pay attention, listen. So one of the things that he said was listen to podcasts, listen to content, listen to different people offering you different opinions. Constantly learn, constantly learn. And so a lot of times he says this thing that, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get it? Does this make sense? And he says little catchphrases like this. And all I can think of is Jackie Chan in that movie where, do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? That's what I think whenever he says that, do you get this? Do you understand? But, it's to drive a point home, because a lot of times we're so hung up in our little shit that we don't take the opportunity to let things sink in. And so when he says that, and when you listen to somebody and you have to rewind it and re-listen to it because it's sticking, write that shit down, because that's the kind of stuff that's going to improve your life, and that's going to make your life better. So number 4 is, what's your circle? So one of the best things about being involved with the V Tribe is I've met people from all kinds of gambits of world that I would never have met had I not joined the V Tribe. I've met some incredible people that have been very, very wonderful and helpful in helping me with this journey. And I've been like, oh my God, this is a great takeaway. Because, okay, and I don't quite know how to put this politely, but listen, hear me out, okay? If you've ever gone thrift storing, okay, one of the cool things about thrift storing is that you see things from people that you don't buy yourself. So you go to X store and X store and X store because you like their XXX, okay? But at the thrift store, there's the X store, X store, X store extras from people that don't shop at XXX. So you start seeing things from different avenues of procurement that you don't necessarily play with. And it's the same thing true with the tribe. You meet a person from this part of the world, or you meet a person from this part, or you start gaining perspectives that are beyond your little end of the universe. And then you discover that the universe is really a vast, wonderful, amazing place. And this world is amazing. I think one of the most interesting things that I've learned in this whole journey is how I don't respect food. And that leads us to number 5. I make a lunch. I put all my little ingredients together. I make myself a breakfast, lunch, and a snack. And I put it up in my fancy little hula bag. And I put in, and then when I get to work, I literally throw it underneath my desk and then I kick it underneath my desk. That's not really respecting food. I have a refrigerator that's full of shit. I have a pantry that's full of shit. I don't really respect food. And one of the things that he teaches us is you contribute to your own hell. That's the big takeaway number 5, is that you are the responsible party. If you're pissed off because of X, or if you're angry because of X, or if your emotions are running amok because of X, or this is going on in your life, or you're pissed off because of this or that, or all of the things that you've blamed your weight gain on, or your regain, or your lack of success, it's all you. It's all you. Because of your reaction to all of this external shit. It's an internal job. And that's the big 5 takeaway. It's a big internal job. You have to look at what's causing you to have these little roadblocks to your success. Yesterday in the 500 talk, he talked about your river and your boulders that are in this river that are stopping you from free flowing. So when you come across these rivers, there's turbulence, and it's your reaction to that turbulence that causes you to either succeed or fail. So you can go around the rock, or you can deal with the rock, because in time, and we know this because we're a rock collector, the ocean breaks down rocks. That's called erosion. And that's what's going to happen with your river. You're going to keep hitting that rock. And as long as you recognize that that rock is in your path, and you can name that rock, and you can work through that rock, and then you can get around that rock. Or you can plow through that rock. And then you can get your river flowing even more and more, and you can have more and more success. And my last little takeaway is that find a person that's living the life that you want to live and emulate that person. Because if you do the actions, then you can't help but progress. Right? So if a super healthy person moves every day, then maybe you should move every day. If a super healthy person that's at your decided goal weight read something inspirational every day, then maybe you should read something inspirational every day. If the person that you admire who manages their food that's into their house and out of their house on a weekly basis, if they meal plan and they don't have a lot of waste, maybe I should meal plan to not have a lot of waste, and then I wouldn't have a refrigerator full of crap. Another thing that he mentioned too is that a lot of Americans have a refrigerator in a garage and a stand-up freezer full of stuff, and they forget what they have in those various and assorted storage facilities, and they buy more shit. Maybe you should plan a little bit better so that you respect your food, so that you don't run out of stuff. I mean, or like we're no longer in the Depression, and we grew up with the Depression mentality that we received from our parents about food waste and all of that other stuff. And so we tend to hoard food. What's the point? What's the point? We're not respecting it because, one, we're not using it. We're not respecting it because it just goes to waste, or we throw it away, or we only use half an onion. Yesterday, I discovered my onions had been around a little while. So I had to completely clean out my root bin because I had a baddie in there. And if you've ever dealt with rotten onions, it's not a pretty thing. So respect your food. So anyway, so those are my 5 takeaways from 500 Days with Dr. Vuong. Expand your circle. Understand the words coming out of my mouth. Get rid of your anger. And work on those rocks in your damn river. And understand you are worth it. And your reaction is what is going to make you fail or succeed. So make those choices. So anyway, so there you go. Those are my top 5s from my 500 Days with Dr. Vuong, and Love you, dude. Alrighty. And I love you all too, and I hope you learned something from this. Alrighty. Until next time, love you. Hasta bye bye.